Folks, you've had a taste of the candidates. I like to think that we learned a lot, and I do want to acknowledge our candidates for their insight, their commitment, and their courage to take a stand. I want to close by a couple of things. We have a couple of announcements. First of all, I want to mention a little experience. I participated in the process called Planet. I spent about a couple hundred hours in the whole thing. When they finally produced the final report at an expense of $6 million, our taxpayers, they produced a 325-page report, and they said if you wanted a copy, you had to print it yourself. Because this was green policy. I really didn't want to print it out of my home computer. So I called the mayor's office and said, I'd like to get a printed copy. And said, we don't have access to them. Call the alderman's office. I called the alderman's office and said, no, we don't have any copies. Call the 311 number, which is their customer service center. I called them and they said, we don't even know what Planet is. I said, you can't be serious. The city's just spent $6 million. I'd like to speak to your supervisor. I got booted up one and he said, no idea what it is. I said, well, don't you think you should have some responsibility? Well, we appreciate you telling us about it. And they referred me to the planning department, building inspections department. They had no idea about Planet, the planning department, and said, why don't you call the alderman's office? So ladies and gentlemen, 12 years ago I wrote a book called Satisfaction Guarantee, How to Satisfy Every Customer. And I have, we've got about 1.5 million people either read the book or participate in the training. So I have an autographed copy that I would like to present to each one of our candidates. I'll come back. Now, one of you is going to win. We're fortunate to have you all today. Whoever it is, I'm going to issue a challenge. I believe the city is capable and deserves nothing but world-class, customer, citizen-driven, customer satisfaction. Would you agree? So, my way of saying thank you, the tradition at the Cabinet Leadership Forum is we always present the speakers with a certificate saying we have restored eyesight through Operation Eyesight Universal. We thought we'd take a slightly different approach this time and leave a message. We also been blessed with a significant number of volunteers who worked on this. I'm going to call, yes, ladies and gentlemen, Calgary's very own Bruce Lee to acknowledge our volunteers. Bruce, please come forward.
Thank you, Brian Lee. As every mayoral candidate or aldermanic candidate or elected or former or current candidate knows, volunteers are the engine to a successful election machine. True for most nonprofit organizations, associations, and it's certainly true for the Calgary Leadership Forum. We've had the pleasure today of having almost 40 volunteers help put this on. So here's what I'd like to do. I'd like everybody who's not a volunteer to stand up, and volunteers to sit down, and I'd like you to give a nice round of applause to the volunteers. So that would make it a standing ovation. So there you go. We have a certificate that we will be giving to each one of you. I'd like to see you see me after. It's suitable for framing, and you get to put your name on it, because we are a nonprofit organization. So with that, volunteers, thank you very much. Back to you, Brian Lee.
Thank you, younger twin brother Bruce Lee. We were roommates. Actually, a little bit of fight before he came out. He crawled out a bloody mess 7 minutes after me. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to, a couple of notices. First of all, the membership desk will be open. Secondly, stay in business as long as you want. Thirdly, with the members of the Canadian Croatian Culture Center, please stand so we can acknowledge you. Please stand, don't be shy. Thank you so much. I love you. And the way you say thank you in Croatian or Serbian or Bosnian or Macedonian is hvala. So, wala fam wala. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end. This is the beginning of the election. It's going to be, we have 2 months ahead. Nomination day is September 20th. And I want to leave you this final thought. Who's it up to? Who's it up to to make our political process work? Who's it up to build a better Calgary? And above all, who's it up to make sure the people we elect are the best people to serve our needs for the next 3 years? And I want to leave you with a closing quote that was written by an anonymous statistician in Ottawa, which, as we know, is the source of all wisdom. And I think this is what really summarizes it up. It says, the population of Canada is 32 million, but there are 11 million over 65 years of age, leaving 21 million to do the work and make a difference. People under 16 total 12 million, which leaves 9 million to do the work and make a difference. 4 million government employees leaves 5 million. 100,000 in the armed forces, I didn't know we had that many, leaves 4 million. You got 1.5 million provincial and city employees, which leaves 3.4 million to do the work and make a difference of building a better Calgary. There are 1,400,000 in hospitals and asylums or sick, leaving only 2 million to do whatever it takes. But 1.3 million of these are unemployed and 600,000 are welfare or won't work. So this entire country that only leaves 100,000 to make a difference. Now, it may you to know that 80,000 people are out of the country at any one time, and 19,674 people are in jail. So that leaves 326 people, ladies and gentlemen, to make a difference. And by my count, that's exactly the number of people here today. So it's in your hands. We stand adjourned.
How you doing, guys? Have a good day, Peter. See you later. Take care, guys. Take care, boys. Take care, kids.